Um,
Hello and welcome to Ozone Gaming's Galaxy League attempt number 2. I am your host, Yeso, for tonight's cast, bringing you the play-by-play, and paired up with me, bringing the most colorful of commentary to the desk is my good friend Sloppy Joe. Welcome to the desk, Joe. How we feeling, my man?
We're feeling good, dude. We're feeling colorful as a rainbow tonight, and we're pretty hyped for Galaxy League finally to begin. We've been waiting for this for months now. I can remember the first announcement coming out, and now, I mean, here we are, Now we're starting it up.
I'm certainly hyped myself. Just a couple of little things of business here to get out of the way before we get into tonight's first match between Carbon and Zion. Want to mention our gracious sponsors, League of Mentoring. They are an educationally focused server within the League of Legends community whose purpose is to offer quality coaching free of charge. The mentor team consists exclusively of mentors of Diamond 3 and above, all of which have gone through a trial period in order to receive their role. The League of Mentoring and their mentors are offering a broad series of specific tools designed to help you in your ranked endeavors, which mainly include VOD reviews, classroom sessions, Q&A, lane discussion, infographics, and tier lists, as well as educational videos and streams. For more information regarding coaching sessions, please click the League of Mentoring logo in our channel description. It will link you directly to their Discord server so you can access all of those resources. Thank you so much for them for sponsoring us. Also, for more info on Ozone Gaming or the Galaxy League, there are also links for the website in the description of the Twitch channel, as well as a link to the Ozone Atmosphere Gaming Center, the community Discord. Also, make sure if you do want to support us, hit that follow button at the top of your screen. And if you would be so gracious, if you are able, please consider donating. The link for donations is down in the description as well. With all of that business out of the way, we got a couple of best of ones tonight between Carbon and Zion, as well as Instinct and Aztec. How are you feeling about the start of the season here, Sloppy Joe?
To be honest, we have had so many people come into Ozone now through Atmosphere and then come into creating teams, and it's awesome to watch the progress being here for so long. And now with Zion coming in, I know some of the people from there. Even from personal life, I've met some of them. From Carbon, it's all fresh people that I haven't even really talked to, and I love that. The fact that we're bringing in new people to the org, and I always hope that we continue to do the same thing in the future.
Certainly going to be very exciting, but to focus in on our first matchup of the night between Carbon and Zion, and we will give you the roster rundown right now as they are up on your screen, starting with Carbon. They have Zayblade in the top lane, Haida roaming around the jungle, Tycho 13 in the mid lane, Hadarius, their captain, at 80 carry, and their support, Dr. McLickertitty, as well as their substitute, Hyperion 44.
You gotta laugh at that name. I'm sorry. He's playing on a different account tonight, so luckily we won't have to say that the entire night. But I am
take it away on the red side. Compose myself.
For Zion, we have in the top lane we have Fire Turtle. In the jungle we have Jail. Mid lane we have, I'm gonna try to pronounce this correctly, Exatanta. In the ADC position we have Hayam Velos. In the support we have Sad Anime Boy, and then for our subs they have FaZe and Lit Lena.
Alrighty, folks, we are preparing to get into game number 1 here momentarily, just getting set up in the lobby in the draft. Just want to discuss a little bit about the league format here. We have 8 teams. We do have a double round robin setup here, so each team will play twice a week, 2 best of ones for 7 weeks. After that, all 8 teams will make it into the playoffs with sort of a staggered format. If you do want more information on that, that is on the Ozone Gaming website. But the bottom 4 seeds play first, then they move up to play the 3rd and 4th seeds, the winners of those, and then those would advance to play the 1st and 2nd seeds in the semifinals. We will have best of 3s in the playoffs up until the finals, which we will get an epic best of 5. I can tell you they're certainly very fun to cast. In my opinion, just as fun to watch. So definitely look forward to that. But before we even get to the playoffs, we got plenty of Ozone Galaxy League action to get through, as we will stream 2 games a week on Wednesday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where game starts. Sloppy Joe, talk to me a little bit about, we got, this is bronze and silver here for the players that we will see on our streams. Talk to me a little bit about some of the expectations you see going from week 1 to week 7. Are we really heavily focused on growth? What kind of things can we expect from these rosters?
To be honest, we have a lot of great coaches at Ozone. So I am obviously expecting tons of growth. Even management helps out with coaching. It's honestly awesome. You see these players come in, they're brand new players to the org, and then you watch them just both, make a lot of friends, join the community, and then also improve themselves as a player and as a team player, which is what League of Legends really comes down to. Also, I really expect them to. These are, in my opinion, some of the best bronze and silver players that I've seen. They're not going to be some person you find in solo queue in bronze or silver. They're typically a much better version of those. So I'm excited to watch them, kind of transform into a new player throughout the season, because it is 7 weeks, so it's going to be quite some time.
Right. Well, as we do prepare to get into this first game, I'm curious about your expectations just for this matchup with Carbon going up against Zion here. Do you have any predictions here, or are you just really curious to see how this draft goes? Do you think that we can heavily stipulate off of how they do in this draft?
To be honest, since I haven't seen either of these teams really play a whole bunch together, or against one another even, and I don't think a lot of them have went against one another a lot. So I think for now I'm going to count on the draft and just say, I think that this team definitely has a better comp, and just go off of that until I see these teams play against one another and see how the first week goes. Then I'll be able to give you a much better estimate of, this player is definitely going to be the carry for this game, et cetera, et cetera.
I certainly think it's actually pretty refreshing to go in with just fresh eyes, honestly, is the best way to put it. Everything is going to be new and exciting, and getting to just learn about these teams from scratch, I think is really, really cool. And we'll get to experience it firsthand, not only watching these games, but getting to cast them and be a part of this initial voyage for the Galaxy League. So I can certainly say I'm excited. I do want to say a big thank you to all of the staff over at Ozone, specifically Abel, Smack, Freelance, everybody for bringing me on. I'm so excited to be here and to bring all of you guys this match, and it's certainly going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to some phenomenal League of Legends tonight and throughout the rest of the season.
I completely agree with you, and it's awesome to meet another person who enjoys casting. I'm going into broadcasting. I love this kind of thing, so it's great to have another caster like you and bringing you to the table for Ozone. And obviously we have a couple other casters, Harambe and How I Met Your Table, coming in another time. But not just yet. Tonight's our night. Tonight is our night. Like I said, I'm feeling colorful as a rainbow.
And shout out to Harambe. I know he's feeling a little left out here. You're my PUBG boy, so don't feel left out. You're still there, my friend. I never forgot about you. But we are in fact getting into draft here for game number 1 between Carbon on the blue side and Zion on the red side for this draft. It's going to be interesting to see the priorities here in the ban phase. We see the Azir dropped off. Certainly a strong mid laner in this meta. What other just powerful meta picks do you expect to probably come up in this ban phase to start off game 1?
Well, let me see. It's strange for me to see Azir becoming a ban now. because he was in such a weak state for so long. I feel like he just gets tossed back and forth at the Riot balance team. They're like, do we want him to be super strong right now? Do we want him to be, stupid? Like, you can't even use him. He's worthless. Taric is another good one. Jax, for sure, I expected. I think that every time a new skin is dropped, this might be a theory, this might be actually true, but every time a new skin is dropped on someone, that champion is just buffed, and it becomes ridiculous.
All right, well, we're certainly going to have to see how this one shakes out. Ezreal dropped there. A little weaker in this patch after his damage on his Mystic Shot was nerfed, as well as some changes there, some nerfs to Kleptomancy, but certainly still a very powerful pick, a very safe AD carry as well, which is certainly beneficial in the laning phase.
Right. And I'm really not surprised to see the Ezreal ban either, because it is Hadarius's best win rate champion, and he has an average 8.14 KDA on his Ezreal. So with a 67% win rate, I'm not surprised to see that Ezreal ban. Plus, he can be annoying early on and mid game.
All right, now the Warwick here, first pick. That's what Carbon is prioritizing. What are you thinking about that early selection? Is that worthy of that first pick priority at this point?
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Warwick, because they let Sejuani go, which I also might have expected as a ban, because Sejuani is also amazingly strong at the moment. Warwick is a good jungler, but to just let Sejuani go so easily, I think that already Zion might have an easier time with tanking late game, and to see this Braum and Tristana, that's basically just a late game bot lane, that is also kind of scary to see on the side of Carbon.
All right, and with that first phase of draft finished off, we do see the jungle as well as the bottom lane grabbed here by Zion. Certainly plenty of crowd control between the Braum and the Sejuani. A solid front line in front of that Tristana pick.
Right, and you want that, because Tristana is probably, I'd put her at least in the top 3 ADCs at the moment, and to have some protection for her is absolutely vital. And with a Kled, what you can do as Braum against a Kled is literally just stand in front of the Kled as he ults in, so he just attacks you, and he can't go for that back line. And then what does he do after that? He just keeps attacking you while the Triss in the back line just melts him. Also, he's going to be able to get in the way of the Warwick just ulting on the Triss. So that Braum pick is definitely a good pickup so far.
And then more focus to protect this Tristana in the ban phase here by Zion, taking away the Malzahar as well as the Galio. So much less engaged now for the side of Carbon here. I'm not necessarily sure about the Galio. I haven't really seen it in support in a long time. And with the Kled already picked, seems like it's an unnecessary ban. But that Malzahar, despite getting nerfed, is still very strong and very potent when he's able, if he has flash up and ultimate, you need to run like hell and stay away from him, because that engage is so simple and so potent.
Right. And I think the Galio pick was to take away from Tycho, is my assumption, because that's one of his top played champs. So we'll see if that was a good pick to take away from someone, because a lot of people I know in the league like to play just a few champs, so it's good to take away a third of their champion pool just by banning one person.
As we look to see this draft finished off here, the Lissandra grabbed by the side of Carbon here. So still plenty of engage between the Warwick, Kled, Sivir, and now Lissandra, and possibly the Brand pick for support. That's certainly a lot stronger than it was a few patches ago. We saw, I believe it was an 8.1 Riot doubling the percentage damage on his passive, so he has certainly seen a resurgence across the map. And Carbon will Zion, will finish their draft with that Xerath pick for Satanta. I'm going to mispronounce that at some point tonight.
That's what I said. I had a rough time with it, just saying it the first.
I may just ignore the X and just go with Satanta.
Satanta, yeah.
But we will get the Lissandra into the Xerath in the mid lane. Not something I've seen very much as of late. still very good in team fights, plenty of engage, and can stall so long, especially once she gets that Zhonya's. Combining that with her ultimate, she can just take up so much of the enemy's team's time in these fights. So certainly looking for team fights, Will Carbon.
Absolutely, and I'm actually really excited to see this mid lane because it's not every day you see Lissandra Xerath lane for sure. Both of the Xerath has become a little bit more popular, but still against the Lissandra, this is going to be pretty interesting to see. I think it's also interesting that Carbon has a lot of pick champs, like Warwick goes on one person, Kled goes on one person, Lissandra can kind of hit a few people. So I'm excited to see their engage and what they're able to do with that. Although, like I said, Braum should be able to block a decent amount of that.
You're certainly correct. It's going to very much be on Sad Anime Boy and Jail to protect their carries in this game. And I would expect they're probably going to keep Fire Turtle in a side lane. That Yorick, once he gets that Triforce, becomes a real force in the 1v1, and as long as he doesn't get too far behind the Kled in the laning phase, he should be a force to reckon with in the side lanes in this mid and late game. So I would imagine a 1-4 composition set up here for the side of Zion.
Absolutely. Yorick is obviously a huge split pusher, pretty annoying. He just whaps you with his shovel, but the Kled, on the other hand, can clear wave. And then he's also taking TP with a combination of his ult. He can go another side of the map anytime he wants. So hopefully he'll be able to manage that Yorick pretty well if he's playing it a decent amount correctly. But besides that, like I said, the disengage from the side of Zion versus the engage on the side of Carbon is going to be pretty fun to watch, honestly. And we get to see Sivir ulti with Kled. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
Yeah, Carbon definitely running the gotta go fast composition with those two picks, and they're certainly going to be trying to chase down the Xerath and the Tristana.
Mm-hmm. And we might even see, some crazy long Warwick ult with the Kled and Sivir ultis.
Imagine you activate the Kled and Sivir ultimates, and Warwick gets blood scent. He is hauling ass.
You're gonna see
down
him mid lane. Yeah.
He's just.
You're gonna see him mid lane, and then all of a sudden he's gonna be on you in the bot lane. This will be fun to watch. Some fun combinations for sure. I was gonna say at first that Zion might not have the damage, but then they picked the Xerath, which is another person you really need to protect because he's just like the living artillery, kind of like the mid lane version of Kog'Maw. So if they play it correctly, I really like Zion's comp over Carbon's, I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah, they certainly scale very well in the late game. Tristana, no slouch when she gets up to 4, 5, 6 items. And that Xerath is certainly going to be very potent. I guess the question is with those ultimates, are they even going to be able to land anything on the Sivir or Lissandra with her stasis effects? It's certainly not going to be easy to take down that backline of Carbon, but they have the engage and the peel to do so.
True. And, the side of Carbon has a huge early game advantage with Braum not even being able to hit a Q on Sivir if she uses her spell shield correctly. She just keeps getting mana back from the Braum because it's easy to see when he's going to throw that Q. And then the brand damage is just ridiculous. I do find it interesting, though, that he took exhaust on the brand because they're going to need to look for that early game damage if they want to take over the game. They're going against a team who is counting on it to go to late game with that Tristana.
Yeah, I almost feel like if you go with the Ignite here and just play to try and win lane, because that exhaust isn't going to be as potent until you get to the mid and late game. Obviously, Tristana and Xerath will get strong, but if you take that Ignite and just play very aggressively into this Tristana and Braum and try and get that early lead and get the snowball going, it's probably more beneficial.
Absolutely. And, another thing is there's no real burst for him to exhaust or anything. He could exhaust the Yorick, but what would that exhaust? One shovel hit?
Yeah.
or if he's
a
even
big
able,
shovel hit, to be
right,
clear.
one
shovel hit.
huge shovel hit, and then if he can even walk to the Tristana to exhaust her, but by that time, you know, he's probably dead.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. Draft is done. Summoners have spawned onto the Rift, and we are ready for the first game of Ozone Gaming's Galaxy League between Carbon and Zion, as we see both teams moving out onto the map. I would expect line of scrimmage starts by both of these teams. The level ones are not terrible. I mean, when you have a Braum on your team, you can certainly play aggressively on the level 1, but it seems like everybody's just content to ensure there are no invades and then just go for some safe early leashes into level 1. And looks like we may see both junglers starting on the bottom side. Warwick typically wants to start on that red buff, helps with his early clear. Not that it's unhealthy by any stretch, but just makes his life a little bit easier. Alrighty, and we will see the Sejuani moving down towards her blue buff, so we will see both junglers get leashed from their duo lanes here in the early game, so could expect some possible early action on the top side. Sejuani's early ganks are certainly more potent than the Warwick, so that will just probably entirely depend on how the push goes in the top lane, excuse me. Now Setanta and Tycho just trading a little bit in the mid lane here. Level 1 just trying to get some early damage out in these trades, and looks like Zion is going to have the possible early push here. Uh-oh, Velos. Did he disconnect? He's taking free poke from Zordith Odo, and we will actually have a pause here, folks. Gonna hopefully have this one resolved momentarily. We can get back into this game. Yeah, we're going to give you folks just a moment. Hopefully solve this pause here really fast. Just want to remind everybody, if you would like to support Ozone Gaming and the Galaxy League, remember that all donations do go directly into the Galaxy League prize pool, so consider following us and checking out that donate link in the description of our Twitch channel, and we will be back here momentarily. And just like that, we're back. It was all just a tease, folks. We're back into game.
We're back. Here we go. I was having some technical difficulties.
Welcome,
there.
Sloppy Joe. Welcome to the game,
I don't know.
friend.
My game froze at 0 minutes and 0 seconds. I was like, this is going to be a fun cast.
It's all right. Nobody knew anything was wrong. I played that off so well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so as expected, we see some good poke on the Tristana in the bot lane early game. Braum should be able to block some... he can block Sivir Qs and Ws if he uses his E correctly, so, maybe he'll be able to block some of that early damage.
Yeah, the only problem for that Braum is he will not be able to block the Pillar of Flame coming out from the brand, but as long as he can eat the stun coming off of his Q, should keep Tristana fairly safe from the crowd control of Carbon.
100%. And we see Sejuani is staying up top lane, actually getting Krugs, which I'm really surprised by. You don't typically want to take the Krugs so early because it takes so long, but she didn't want to go up for the gank or anything. That's kind of what I was going for, but now we'll see where she ends up going.
Setanta getting a lot of poke out here on Tycho here in the early game. Down below half health, still sitting on a pot, but this Xerath pick looking very good in the laning phase as of now.
Yeah, the Xerath just pokes so well, and the Lissandra, you know, she has some stuff that she can easily CS with, but nothing like the laser that Xerath shoots from himself.
Just zapping you consistently, getting all of that poke out, and still fairly healthy in his mana pool. That mana flow land doing a lot of work for the Sion mid laner. Now Carbon has gotten level 4 here. I don't know if they want to go for the aggressive play, but they will not. They've actually got Jail in behind them. A good stun though by Zortith. I don't know which name I like less, but Zortith does get the stun onto Jail there to prevent that engage, and Velos and Sad Anime Boy were a little too far back to assist their jungler, so that flank does not pay off for Sion.
Well, you know, I can't really blame them for staying so far back because they were basically under their turret. You know, that couldn't have been, that couldn't have gone very well, especially with the damage that Brand puts out. It just would not have gone well. I wouldn't have wasted my time at even going so early.
Now we could see Haida possibly trying to make a play here in the mid lane. No, he just runs right through in full vision. He's just going to go to the top side of the map, but we will see a trade on the top, possibly Zayblade going to get that bear trap on a rope, but Fire Turtle just able to back away from the Kled here.
We do see the Warwick top lane, although it looks like they're pinging him, so yeah, he's just going to end up backing there. York's staying under tower there.
Now looking at the CS numbers, we do have winning lanes across the board right now for Sion. Over a 10 CS deficit for Zayblade in the top side. He's going to need to figure out how to deal with Fire Turtle here, as Haida has shown up to give his top laner a little more safety, and now Zayblade does have access to that ultimate, so could make a play here very soon, possibly going to look to roam down towards the mid lane.
Yes, and Tycho just wants to get back, wants to see his CS once again, you know, doesn't want to fall too behind because, like I said, you fall behind with this team and you're going to end up, you know, getting pretty screwed against Carbon's team right now. Or, I'm sorry, Zion's team.
We do have Jail actually moving in again behind the bottom lane of Carbon here. Just looks like he wants to back, though. Content to steal a jungle camp and then return to base.
Yeah, he's been pretty risky going in that Warwick's jungle, actually, you know, two or three times now. So we'll see if he ever gets caught out and if Sivir and Brand are able to turn on him.
Yeah, the one thing that Jail has had going for him so far is the lack of vision set up from Carbon in their own jungle. It's pretty dark other than where Haida is, so they really have not been able to track Sion jungler very well so far in this match. Ooh, Exitanta going to get a little bit of damage out there as Tycho down very, very low, forced to use part of his refillable potion. Yeah, now Tycho forced to back here as Satanta continues to control this mid lane, low on mana. So he will back as well, but has been able to build a 15 CS lead in this mid lane so far, doing very, very well early on this Xerath pick.
Right, and actually it looks like the Tristana is up 10 CS as well. It's kind of going back and forth a little bit there, but regardless, then you have Yorick up on Kled by 20 CS at the moment, so it looks like Zion's doing a pretty good job of keeping up their game so that they can move it on to late game.
Yeah, the big question is you know, how are they going to deal with the engage from Carbon once they get access to all of these ultimates and decide to hit that go button, because you know you're going to be hard pressed to stop them when they hit it. They have such an easy time initiating with all of those ultimates. And we do see Zion moving down to try and contest Carbon on this Infernal Drake. We could get a fight here. Haida doesn't get stunned. It actually lands onto Tycho, and Jail going to stay around at about half health. Poke coming out from Setanta. Flash and charge. They're going to get onto Tycho. He's going very low. Jail is very low here as well, but first blood to the Tristana. This is 2 for 1 so far in favor of Zion. The double kill to Setanta. Can they chase down Hedarius here? Ooh, the poke comes out. Spell shield. The auto attack will land from Tristana, but it's not enough. Hedarius able to just escape.
Xerath cannot get the Sivir either, so that was actually such a good fight for Zion there. I'm actually pretty impressed. Although Carbon should have known they couldn't take that. With Xerath coming in, he can just do so much long range damage. You can't take some risky play like that. You have to kill someone before you're going to take such an early drag.
Yeah, luckily Hedarius did have On the Hunt available there after backing under his tower. So he used that to get away from the Xerath, but yeah, not only a 3 for 1 trade in favor of Zion, but they do prevent Carbon from taking that that early Infernal Drake. So Zion could possibly look to take that here in the next couple of minutes if they can set up some more vision around it. They do have the Dragon Pit in the river lit up, but a lack of vision in the red side jungle of Carbon can make that pretty risky to go for right now.
Yeah, and we see Lissandra coming down bot lane, maybe looking to protect, ward a little bit, make sure nothing's going to happen to her. Xerath is looking for Lissandra at the moment. You know, kind of just back to regular old CSing after that team fight.
Yeah, we could possibly see Haida going here for the long con. He is going to track his way through the red side jungle of Zion, possibly trying to get in here behind Fire Turtle. There is a ward in the Tri-Brush, so he will get spotted eventually, but he will take the Krugs for now. Does he go for the fight?
I absolutely think he should here. I think
Jail is in behind the bottom lane again. Zortith forced the flash away. It's not going to be enough. The satchel charge will take down the support, and it's 4 to 1 in favor of Zion. They're going to go for the dive. Can Hedarius survive? Stopwatch activated by Jail. A good job dropping the aggro, and now Tristana just able to rocket jump away. Tycho not able to do enough damage here. Now running for his life, gonna get hit by the burst from Setanta, and that is it. The mid laner is down 6 to 1 in favor of Zion. They have control of this early game.
I gotta say, that was impressive. That was such a risky tower dive on Zion's side, but the stopwatch ended up coming in clutch, and then Lissandra ended up not hitting the abilities she needed to. So that was just such a great trade for Zion once again.
Now Sableye does want to fight in the top lane. He is going to get forced off of, and of course now I can't remember the name of his dang mount, but Skarl, and Haida jumps in with the ultimate turtle, and he will actually take down the Kled here. Get his first kill of the game.
Yorick has that consistent damage. Look at those.
Haida could go down here, force the flash away. He's going to get trapped, and he's 2 kills for Fire Turtle in essentially the 2v1.
That's impressive. You can't take on the little creatures like the little speed demons come after you, man, and it's a game over from there. There's so much consistent damage.
Yeah, Haida just underestimating the Yorick.
That was and Yorick barely took any damage really after the Warwick goal. He's just kind of taking it back. He's like, all right, I'll go back now. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for all that gold. I'm gonna go buy some items. Could possibly, and let's just check. Can he get? He can get his Triforce actually with that back. He will grab that item as well as some brown paper bags and head back to lane in a very, very strong position.
That was really impressive top lane, I'm not going to lie, because now it looks like every lane really is ahead. We have a 3-0 Xerath, a 2-0 Tristana, 2-0 Yorick. I mean...
Ooh, Setanta going to flash in, force out the ultimate from Tycho now. Can he go for the kill? He cannot. The health is enough to keep Tycho alive, and missing the poke there was Setanta, so Tycho able to escape with his life, and we do have the lane swap actually initiated here. So Fire Turtle has worked his way down to the bot lane, but it may cost. Exhausted under tower. The auto attack comes out from Hedarius, and the passive from Zortith will secure the kill. Fire Turtle goes down, and they could look for a tower on the bot side.
I don't know if that...
Uh-oh, Hadarius, the ultimate from Setanta, rings true and takes down the Carbon AD carry. They push too far without vision, and they are punished for it heavily as Setanta roams down from the mid lane.
Now, if Velos can get this turret, then the Yorick's death wasn't in vain. Otherwise, wasn't quite the best lane switch, with lane swap, but apparently they are going to get that, and they might, if they're smart enough, they might go for that Rift Herald right now because it's a good time.
Geo backing away as Tycho did show up to back up his jungler. Good job from Geo to not be overly aggressive and get caught out. Fairly tanky, but still needs to be careful this early into the game. Do you see the bot lane for Zion evading aggressively on the blue side, trying to get some deep vision, but it will be cleared out at least a little bit by Hadarius as this blue buff is handed over to Setanta.
Looks like they're just going to clear some vision here and get ready for the next team fight moving forward.
Now, Rift Herald is alive. Looks like Carbon wants to play for this objective. They will have to clear out some vision as that control ward in there will let Zion know what Carbon is up to. So they will just back away as Zion begins to collapse. And Carbon is going to be hard-pressed. They look like they want to push this mid lane, but with that Xerath as powerful as he is right now, you're going to have a tough time keeping him from clearing those waves and keeping you off of his tower.
You're going to have an extremely tough time, and if they're able to get back with the back line, like they might be able to if, Sivir, Lissandra, Kled, Warwick, those are all people who should be able to get to the back line. However, I mean, with a 2-9 game, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do that now.
And this vision control and early lead for Zion played in their favor. Carbon was forced to back away once Zion collapsed, and now that Rift Herald goes over to Zion essentially for free, so they can really look to continue to pressure across the map. They have 2 towers so far and could easily secure a third with that Eye of the Herald.
Yeah, if they use the Eye of the Herald correctly, they could, possibly get down, even destroy an inhibitor tower with this if Yorick can pressure the opposite way. And that's the beauty of Yorick, right? You can put your Maid and Yorick up there and then just, put Rift on the bot side.
Now we do have the 1-3-1 set up here early in the game by Zion, and the Rift Herald is actually going to be dropped in the top lane. That's going to force Carbon to respond. This is such a great play because even if they go stop the Rift Herald in the top lane, they're going to lose their mid lane tower. Good job from Sad Anime Boy keeping that wave alive just a little bit longer. Hadarius activates on the hunt, trying to juke out the Xerath ultimate, but it's not enough. Setanta lands the final shot and takes down Hadarius.
All right, so we've decided to drop the X. Setanta he finally earned, the rights to Xerath there. I know the last time we didn't really mention it, but he missed every single ultimate that he shot. That time he got everything.
Ooh, Haida in big trouble, is going to get caught here, and Velos will take the kill. The jungler is dead, and they can look to take down this mid lane tier 1. Towers falling all across the map as Fire Turtle was solo pushing in the bot lane, able to take down the tier 2. And that tier 2 on the top side is very low as well. Structures just falling down all over the place, and Carbon is in very big trouble.
And here you see, the Yorick doing his thing, putting that pressure bot side. Looks like Lissandre's bringing Lissandra Kled. He's not even going to die. If I were Zion there, I would have pressured, top lane somewhere. You were just mentioning that top tower. They could have easily gotten that down with Yorick brought, 3-4 people down with him just for him.
Yeah, they can certainly play aggressive with the lead that have been able to build about 8,000 gold just at the 18-minute mark, comboed with that early Infernal Drake. Means that Zion is in an extremely powerful place at this state in the game, and they're only going to get stronger as their carries continue to scale up.
I forget where I heard it. Might have been, stream. This might be completely false, but I always think of it in the back of my mind. Once you get that 8,000 gold lead, there's not much, unless the team is making some crazy mistakes, there is not much you can do to come back from that.
The one good thing that Carbon has going for them is there's a lot of standing gold left on the map. They haven't taken any towers, so there's plenty of gold in that. And plenty of CS and jungle camps to try and get back into this game, but they really have to be able to staunch the bleeding here. If they can't stop all these continuous tower takes, then that lead is going to only continue to surmount. It's going to become 10,000, 12,000, and then it's going to take you forever to try and get over that gold deficit. And you can certainly say at 8,000 down that it may already be the final nail in the coffin, but they do have some ways back into this game.
Of course, but also another thing is you can't let Yorick bring so much pressure.
And we are going to get a fight here in the mid lane as Carbon tried to get the flank. Now under his Darius, who taking a lot of damage. They're forced to back way. The ultimate from Xerath will take down the AD carry. The double kill to Velos on the side as well. And Hyda's trying to run away. It does not matter. Flashing in is the AD carry, activating the heal and the triple kill to Velos. That's 4 members dead, and they're going to shove down the mid lane.
And there you see the beauty of a late game fed Tristana. You can't really notice the Xerath putting in that crazy artillery damage from the back line, but then you see Tristana, just hop in there, go back with the flash, hit it with the heal so that she can get that triple kill. And now they have the same scoreline. They have 6-0 and 5 on 2 of their members. That is actually ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah, Tristana already at 2 items here. Hasn't even been forced to use her stopwatch yet. And I would imagine after backing with the 1,600 gold that he is sitting on, Setanta should easily be able to buy his next item.
It looks like Braum actually left, and we're not seeing a pause. So I'm not sure if something happened with the team, but something's obviously going on. Oh, there we have it.
He's back.
He's back. I wasn't sure because normally you'd pause it, with a disconnect.
Yeah, sad anime boy has reconnected to the game very quickly. Didn't even have to pause there. That's nice.
It's nice.
We can just stay right in the action.
You're so confident you don't even have to pause for a disconnect. That's great.
That's quite a gold lead at that point.
Good for them,
And as we mentioned, it is now ballooned up to 10,000 gold. They have 6 towers only in the inhibitor and Nexus towers standing between Zion and a game 1 victory here over Carbon. Again, Carbon still just trying to slow the bleeding. They have some vision around Baron right now, so they will see Zion moving their way over there. But at this gold deficit, I don't know if you can really even try and contest. You could possibly go for a Miracle Steal with the Warwick ult over the wall. That possibly could be worth, because if you do grab that, would allow you to kind of take the brunt of the Zion push, but we'll have to see if they go for it. Zion now onto the Baron, trying to take this down, and Warwick's across the map. This should essentially be a free Baron Nashor for the side of Zion. Oh, and now they want to engage. The Glacial Prison is going to land on Hadarius' head, just like that, deleted, and Hayam Velos gets his 7th kill of the game. Now they're going to try and chase down the rest of the Carbon. They may not be able to catch him. Zortith just trying to run away, but they've moved to the top lane. They've got these Baron buffed minions looking to break the Carbon base.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually really surprised. I was just about to say if they got that Baron, it would be the final nail in the coffin, and if they got it before you started calling the play-by-play before I could even say anything. So.
Zortith actually goes down. Setanta has activated the ultimate, as well as the mid laner. Tycho is dead. Now they're running for their lives. Zayblade is down. Hayam Velos with his 8th kill of the game, trying to chase down Hadarius. There's the double to the Tristana. They're going to take down the inhibitor, and this should be pretty free. With Baron buffed minions, they're going to move on to the Nexus turrets. Haida doing his damnedest to try and protect these towers. He's stunned. He's dead. The ace, the towers, and the Nexus will fall. Game 1 is going to go to Zion over Carbon.
What an amazing first game this was. It's great to see both teams coming out finally, and to bring out their best, overall.
Zortith doing his damnedest to get some kills here at the end, but Hayam Velos just on the other side of the Nexus, hammering away at it, and it will go down just under 24 minutes. A hell of a game there from Zion across the board.
That was extremely, extremely clean. You know, I love to watch just this. You know, I know my name's Sloppy Joe, but I don't look for the sloppy plays. I look for the clean plays. And from the side of Zion, that is absolutely what we saw there. What was it, 23-3? That's a crazy victory, and you know now they're just coming out saying we're ready for the next opponent.
Yeah, one hell of a game there from Zion. And just to update you all on the damage numbers here, we did see great games, especially from the carries of Zion there. 8-0-10 for the Xerath, 10-0-8 for High I'm Velos. A very spicy game for the Tristana. And look at the damage numbers here. Easily in first place in damage is the Xerath with over 18,000 damage. More than almost 7,000 more than the next place.
And you know, I don't think people are giving a lot of credit to a Xerath either, because you know he's just back there sitting, you know, hitting them with the Qs, the Ws, and people don't see that as much as, you know, the frontline damage, the crazy Sedge plays, the Tristana. But at the end, we see that the Xerath was doing unbelievable amounts of damage. And then second place, we see the Tristana, and that was down by 7,000. She's at 11,000. And then third place was Brand, their support on Carbon's side.
Yeah, certainly a great game across the board. Honorable mention, certainly to High and Velos and Jail as well. 2-1-14, a great game on the Sejuani, continuing to engage. But I'd have to say our votes for MVP for that game would go to Setanta. And right now we are going to hand it over to Freelance with an interview with the Zion mid laner.
Thank you, Yeso and Sloppy Joe, for that introduction. I am here with Zion's mid laner, Setanta. First off, I want to say congratulations on getting your first win and being named the MVP. How do you feel right now?
Oh, I feel great. I think this was a great start to our season, and I think we made a statement.
That is awesome to hear. So for your first game, how are you feeling personally, and after seeing your performance, how much different were your expectations before the game compared to how you guys performed?
I would say they're on point with my expectations. I expected us to play well. We've been practicing a lot. We've been scrimming a lot. We've worked hard for this coming up into the season, and I think the results just show show.
That is good to hear. Zion came into the league with most of their roster in place. You guys had a couple of roster switches. With the amount of time that the roster spent together, how much do you think that guys helped you compared to hurt you guys?
I think it helped us a lot. I've been on this team since I think like early December, so we've had a lot of time to practice. I mean, we've had bumps here and there. You know, we've had highs, we've had lows, but all in all, I really think our time together has paid off.
That is awesome. All right, so going into next week, you guys face, let's see, let me pull up the schedule right here, Aztecs and Requiem. How do you guys feel that you're going to do in those games?
Honestly, maybe a little bit BM, but I'm expecting the 2-0. Easy peasy.
Oh, really? Wow. Some strong words coming out from Setanta here. All right. So, to round things off, how overall, like, what do you guys feel helped you most in this game? Was it the draft phase and getting a comp that you guys wanted, or was it more you guys just having a good game plan going in and knowing exactly how you want to play the map?
Honestly, I think this game was, I think it was one off a draft. I mean, we played well to our comp, but getting the comp that we wanted was very important to our win condition. So, all in all, yeah, I think we just played pick bands really well, and I think that showed.
That is awesome to hear. All right, are the casters ready yet? I don't. All right, we are going to send it back to the casters. Satana, thank you for the interview. Congratulations on the win and the MVP. And now back to Yeso and Sloppy Joe.
Thanks so much, Freelance. Great job on the interview, and congrats to Satante on that MVP performance in game number 1. We do have some time here before we head to our second game of the day between Instinct and Aztecs. So we are going to take just a little bit of a break here, folks. Stick with us. We will be back very quickly to prep you for the second game of the day. Thanks so much for joining us here at Ozone Gaming, and we'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Ozone Gaming and the Galaxy League. Certainly was a fun game to cast there the first time around between Carbon and Zion taking the win in under 24 minutes. Very convincing start to this first season of the Galaxy League, and we will have Instinct and Aztec here facing off in the second game of the night here on the stream. Couple of teams looking to climb their way top of the standings here at the start of the season. Sloppy Joe, we had a very exciting and quick game there from Zion. Any final thoughts on that one before we get into Instinct versus Aztec? Any just final things you want to tie up here?
My final thoughts would just be I would suggest, everyone shouldn't take that game, as the final verdict for the rest of the season, right? On Carbon side, yeah, it wasn't the best game for them, but at the very least, you can always come back. You can, like I said, we have coaches here. We have plenty of people that'll talk to you about, trying to get better and talking to each other to synergize a little bit more. So I don't want anyone to take this to some crazy extent, like, I don't think we'll ever win now, but I definitely think that Carbon could come back and for sure show us something, a completely new team next week.
Yeah, certainly plenty of growth they can have. 13 games left for them here in the regular season, and you talk about coaching. They want to improve. Maybe they could check out our sponsor, League of Mentoring. They're an educationally focused server within the League of Legends community. Its purpose is to offer quality coaching free of charge. Some of these specific tools designed to help you in your ranked endeavors that they do have VOD reviews, classroom sessions, Q&A, infographics, and tier lists, educational videos, and streams. Remember, for more information regarding coaching sessions, please click the League of Mentoring logo in our channel description here on Twitch to check out their Discord server. Also, links for the Ozone Gaming website, Galaxy League information, as well as the Ozone Atmosphere Community Discord are down in the description. Make sure to check those out and consider supporting us on stream, either hitting a follow or hitting that donate link in the description if you want to help us out here. But thank you so much for joining us tonight on the cast. It's been a blast so far, and I look forward to game number 2. Now we look at this when we have Instinct versus Aztec going up against each other in the second game. I'm not sure. Do we have the results from game number 1? Do we know where these teams lie after their first matches? So we do, just getting an update from our producer here. Instinct did lose. Aztec is still finishing up their game, so we may just have to wait on them just a little bit before we get into this second match, but we still will see Instinct trying to grab their first win of the season against Aztec here in our second game of the night.
And I'm really excited to see this. These two teams face off as well, because these are two brand new teams. Aztecs came from one of our original members, Aztec, but with an S and a K at the end, regardless. So that's interesting. That'll be fun to watch. And then Instinct is just a fresh team for me. I don't know any of these guys, and it'll be just like two teams that I've never even heard of before, but once again, I'm excited to see their progress going from week 1 to week 7.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very exciting to see what they have, but as we prepare to get into this match, we will hit you with the roster rundown here. On the blue side for this game will be Instinct. Fidel C in the top lane. They have Blade GG in the jungle. Their stalwart in the mid lane, Kill Dem Hard. Left-hand path, 6-6, their captain at 80 carry as well as Muff Hunter, their supporter. Great name there. And Zhel07, their substitute.
Now we have to take a little vote here. Which one is your favorite name on that team? Because I think they have a few good names there. I'm going to have to say Kill Dem Hard, because that's just pretty good, to be quite honest.
That's a good one. My favorite on the day, although I would hate to cast it, McLickertitty.
Okay, yeah, McLickertitty. But
I think Muff Hunter is a good competition for that, certainly.
There's no competition with the Mick Liquor Titty. Luckily, we didn't have to, just say, "Oh, Titty's, going this and that place." But
Titty's going in for the engage.
But regardless, I think there are some good names here. And also, notes on Aztec's team is he is becoming the head of Ozone's PUBG teams that they're trying to make, which will also be interesting. So you might know him from there. If not, you can go to him and talk about anything related to PUBG. So that's also pretty fun. Just know that he's also interested in that.
Yeah, certainly the roster rundown for them. Slobby Joe, if you want to take that away.
For Aztecs, we have notes, like I said, in the top lane. For the jungle, we have Princess Zoe. For mid lane, we have Inheritance. Hold on, let me see. Let me pull this up here for myself. For the ADC, we have Afraid of the Dunk. And for support, we have Don Bandito. And then substitute, like I said, we have Aztec himself as the captain and substitute for the team.
All right, we did just get updated here. Aztec, in fact, lost their game. So both of these teams will competing for their first win of the season. So sadly, one will start, at least move to the middle of the pack here, and one will drop to the bottom of the standings at the end of week number 1. But as we mentioned, still plenty of games left. They will have 12 more after this week to play. So you certainly can't necessarily extrapolate just from these week 1 matches how the rest of the season will shake out.
You can't count them out yet. And here's where they're really learning their weaknesses, like I said. So, Carbon they just saw 25 minutes worth of games to see what not to do. And they can go back through it and say, okay, well, let's do this differently next time,
Certainly. And I believe, actually, that was a misstep on my part. I think Instinct will actually be on the red side for this game, and we will see Aztec on the blue side for this second game of the day.
All right, so let me pull these guys up here.
Aztec, man. It's a good name. It's a shame that their team name doesn't match it, but
it's it is. It's absolutely.
Got to work with what we got.
We do. They do at the very least.
Aztec may just slip out during the cast. I don't know. I can't see the future. None of us can.
But yeah, I mean, it might slip out. Might add that extra S. All right, so you want to talk about maybe what we're expecting to get banned, picked, etc.
Yeah, certainly. We saw some interesting picks and bans early in draft for game number 1. We talked about that. Azir, he's certainly become very strong. One thing I was very curious about, a lot of pro players have been talking about this, and it's certainly something that I ban in every game, is the Nunu. With the changes to his Blood Boil, he's remarkably powerful, especially when paired with a Kog'Maw or an Azir, with that AP buff that he gives along with the attack speed. And we didn't see that in the ban or pick phase from either teams in game 1. I would be curious to see it go all the way through a second time. What are your thoughts on that pick?
On the Nunu pick, to be honest, I don't know if I want it to be picked or not, because I just think that champion is so stupid right now, right? Doesn't know what to do with him. He needs to be reworked, just like most of the Season 1 champions. But if it does get picked, I think that team definitely has a stronger chance of winning the game, for sure. I will say that it looks like a few bans that I might expect to come out of Instinct toward Aztec would be maybe Camille with a 75% win rate on left-hand path. We have Malzahar with a 71% over 21 games on Muff Hunter. So, yeah, I mean, I think we'll absolutely see a few decent mans. Some of these guys have decent win rates over a few games, with these champions. On the other side, though, let me see if this will pull up for me. Let me see. Oh, it doesn't look like it pulled up for me. All right, well, for now, that'll work. Princess Zoe, she has a decent win rate with Annie, we have Maokai at a 71% win rate on Notes, and a few others that, there might be bans based on those, like we saw that weird Galio ban last game. However, I would say they should ban someone like, Nunu, Azir, etc., because those are just broken champs at the moment.
Yeah, I would have to agree, especially when paired together. I mean, that combo is absolutely busted. Something I saw when I was casting earlier this week was a heavy prevalence of Kog'Maw and the Juggernaut compositions. Lulu and Janna, especially the Lulu, very strong right now, comboed with that Kog'Maw, and even if you can grab an Orianna, makes that AD carry so powerful and so safe in those mid and late game fights too, with all of the shields they can provide. Would you be surprised to see a Juggernaut comp come out from either of these teams?
No, and actually, we just saw last game, we saw a Sejuani, a Yorick, and a Braum all in the same team, right? And they completely dominated. So if we see, some THICC characters come out here, I would not be surprised.
Thick, boy. I'm all about that.
It's all about the thick, dude.
All right, well, we should be into draft here between Instinct and Aztec, and maybe the correction was wrong. It looks like Aztec is going to be on the red side, Instinct on blue. That's how it's shaped up in the lobby right now, but we should be ready to go here in just a moment.
I know our fans are just extremely excited right now. I would say if you need to get a drink right now, we have, our guys coming around with drinks at the moment. Pick them up while you can. Don't go to the bathroom, folks. Yeah,
we got Cracker Jacks, Red Vines.
Get your girlfriend. Yeah, get your girlfriends the drinks or Dippin' Dots that they need at the moment, and just sit down and relax.
Make sure you ask her. You like Mike and Ike's?
You
like Mike and Ike's?
You like Mike and Ike's? I like Mike and Ike's.
You got a boyfriend? Can I have your number? Can I have it? Can I have it? Oh, you work that up, dude.
And
weird in the spectator section.
All right, let's see here. Okay. So it looks like we will be going to Champ Select here in just a minute, and here we are. Let's get it started.
Champion Select for Instinct versus Aztec. Just one more reminder, Instinct on the blue side, Aztec on the red. And as we get into the first ban phase, Shen dropped off first. I love Shen, and honestly, I've been playing him at support since Season 4. I loved pre-rework Shen in the bot lane. You just got that on-hit healing from his Q, but now with some of the changes to the meta and the new runes over the offseason, he's found his way, still strong in the top lane, but he has actually found his way to the bot lane in the meta.
Absolutely. And actually, I watch a lot of Aphromoo. I love that guy, and I learned a lot of shot calling from him. And he loves the Shen support. And actually, he just took it in the LCS last week. I believe he lost. Yeah, that was against Cloud9, and he lost that one. But still, for him, the LCS players that even take Shen support, that's saying something. Looks like we have the Braum and Shiva. I like both of those bans. Braum is one of the top win rate supports, and Shyvana is one of the top win rate junglers. She actually gets ridiculous late game.
Yeah, Braum has been carrying me in ranked so far. I am 5-0 on him in my ranked games, went 4-0 in placements, so I am very much on the Braum hype train right now. I think he is so remarkably strong throughout the game.
He is.
And the fact that you enable your team with the CC from your concussive blows.
Right, if people know how to auto attack, then he works out just swell. A lot of times, though, my mid laner will just end up hitting a bunch of Qs on him and never auto and finish off that 4th proc, but, you know, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, but are through the first ban phase here. Jinx, J4, and Shen banned away by Instinct. Aztec drops the Shyvana, Braum, and the Garen, an interesting ban there, and now the early focus on supports. The Leona first picked by Instinct, and then the immediate response with the Taric by Aztec. What are your thoughts on those early picks?
I'm interested in the Taric. It looks like they don't have a very high win rate with the Taric, so we'll see if that goes well. He is a strong support, and
strong specifically into that matchup, correct?
Against Leona, yes, because she dives and he stuns them and then just brings up everyone's health. There's easy ways to. I know Leona was crazy overpowered early on, but now she's easily countered.
And we will actually see matched picks here as both teams select support, jungler, and their mid laners. We will see the Zac and Warwick face off here in game number 1, as well as a Fizz versus Malzahar matchup in the mid lane. I know Malzahar is certainly very meta. Haven't seen a lot of Fizz lately. Where do you kind of think his power's at this point?
On Fizz, you know what? I think Fizz is always in a good spot. He's also hard to counter. Until you get, super high elo where you know how to basically counter everything. With his damage, I think that he will be good against a Zac who can knock someone up. Fizz, can just ult them when they're knocked up and just bada bing, bada boom, they're dead. Although the Malzahar does have a spell shield, so he should have enough to keep him from harm's way too much from a huge combo.
And now a couple of late game hyper carries banned away. The Jinx and the Twitch will not be available for either team. In the second phase, they still have left to pick their AD carries as well as their top laners, and that is mirrored in the bans so far, as Nasus and Alawi were also dropped here in the second ban phase.
What's interesting is on the side of Aztecs is they're banning basically all late game carries. So I think they're a little. They want to kind of build off of late game a little bit themselves. With they just picked that Tristana, a little bit of Warwick, but they do not want the Nasus, Shyvana, some of the best late game people. Twitch. I also think Xayah will be a good pick into the Tristana. She can hopefully do something against her late game as well.
Yeah, the good thing that Xayah for left hand path should help him avoid some of the engage from Aztec. It will make it much more difficult for Princess Zoe to get on top of the AD carry with that Warwick ultimate, as well as avoiding the Dazzle coming out from Taric. But one thing that Xayah ultimate will not help you with is you're not going to be able to get away from the Malzahar. That point and click ultimate is not going to care about that Xayah ult.
Absolutely not, but what I would say for her to do is just go ahead and build that QSS, because you have the Warwick and the Malzahar. If one of them catches you, you're probably going to get screwed by the other, right? So just get out of there with the QSS, at least on the Malzahar. I forget if the QSS works on Warwick, actually. For some reason, I feel like it doesn't.
It works on, if I remember correctly, the interaction with suppressions and either cleanse or QSS is you can QSS the CC, but you cannot QSS the damage still continues.
Right.
So you can move, but you still take all of the damage from it. If I remember how that interaction works, it's been a long time since I've dealt with it, but in the actual draft finished off here, the Maokai taken for Fidel in the top lane, and Notes will grab the Camille. Something I'm actually interested we didn't see here at all is the Gnar. Gnar is a super strong pick right now. It's actually very good into the Maokai in the top lane in that 1v1. But Notes decides to go with the Camille, possibly a comfort pick for him to try and deal with that big tree in the top lane.
Well, a few of these I actually told you beforehand. I said they'd probably pick a Malzahar or Camille with some good win rates here. So I'm not too surprised by those, but I'm also excited because I like watching Camille players. She just kind of zooms around with her hooks all over the place. Against Maokai, I don't think she'll do that well, just because it's Maokai and he has so much sustain. And the CC coming off of Instinct is actually a little ridiculous.
Yeah, certainly plenty of engage on the side of Instinct. You can send the Zac and Leona into start, and then the Maokai going to follow up with the Nature's Grasp as well as the Fizz, throwing the fish in. They're going to be able to pile on any sort of carry that they catch. And, they do have a little bit of disengage here on the side of Aztec with that Taric. They have the ultimate to momentarily negate some damage, and effective use of the Dazzle can stunt some of these engages, but they're going to be hard pressed to deal with this team 5-on-5. I think, considering they have the Malzahar and the Warwick, they should heavily focus on picks here in this game and look to not face up against Instinct in a 5v5 fight.
Yeah, and I think something else that's worth noting is Leona actually took the Ignite for early game pressure. Although I would say that I would take Exhaust personally against the Warwick and Camille, because they're going to hop on either Xayah or Fizz every time, probably Xayah later on.
Yeah, the Xayah will certainly be more susceptible than the Fizz with that troll pull. You get to that mid and late game and it's on such a short cooldown, makes him so slippery to engage on. So they're going to be heavily reliant on Inheritance on this Malzahar to set up some of these picks. We are just moments away from getting into our second game of the day between Instinct and Aztecs. Just want to thank everybody again so much for joining us tonight. Been an absolute blast to cast so far. I look forward to the second game as well as the rest of this inaugural season for the Galaxy League. Happy to be here for the start, and I think it's going to be an absolute blast, folks.
I have to agree. It's, this is awesome. I love doing it, and I love seeing some of my friends play, some of the new people, like I've mentioned, like 5 different times. I think this was a great idea. Props to all of the people, head management, Harambe Smack, Freelance, and everyone else who has put effort into Galaxy League, How I Met Your Table, etc.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job putting this all together, and we appreciate what they have done. And I think these players will certainly appreciate being able to compete in this competitive environment. This is certainly a very special experience compared to solo queue or playing flex. This organized team environment in this league is certainly very, very fun to do, and they've done a great job. We are getting into game number 2 here, folks. Instinct facing off against Aztecs, a couple of 0-1 teams looking to grab their first win of the season. In our second game on the cast, we are on to the Rift and into game number 2.
All right, this will be an interesting game. I think that Aztecs have a very interesting comp. I think both of them have a little strange comps, but they both have strong champions on each comp. So, we'll see where it gets them from there.
Yeah, Instinct definitely want to get to the mid game and get those 5v5 team fights, and Aztec is going to certainly want to set up some picks as well. They have a fairly strong 1-3-1 composition here. Camille gets through 1 or 2 items and can certainly be a menace in the side lanes. And while, Inheritance not on the Malzahar, not necessarily very strong in a side lane, can push waves fairly well and does have the teleport, so they certainly can set up this 1-3-1 if they are able to build a lead in the early game and look to take down some structures in that fashion. They would just have to be very careful with the composition that Instinct has put together. That 3-man unit in the mid lane, very, very susceptible to getting into fights.
I wanted to just point out, they just a second ago, Essex just had this beautiful front line all the way across. It was like a straight line. It just looked magical. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Great coordination there from Aztecs. We're
not going to see much cheese coming out here early either.
Just Sloppy Joe over here enjoying the aesthetics.
The aesthetics. It's all about the
so
aesthetics. Man.
Look good, feel good, play good is how I go about it.
Feeling as colorful as a rainbow, dude.
Exactly. Now we see some early trading here in the lanes. Talk to me about how you see these lanes shaking out, just based on the draft.
Well, let's see. Starting from top lane, I would expect to see Camille's going to lay down some damage. However, Maokai's just going to bring it all back, sustain. It's going to be pretty boring up there. Camille might try to do something with Warwick, but Maokai should be able to just get away, especially if Zac is even remotely close with a Z. In the jungle, I would say Warwick can beat Zac unless Zac ends up getting some help from someone. Malzahar versus Fizz is pretty interesting. Like I said, Fizz can melt anyone, but Malzahar has that constant spell shield and has a bunch of bugs just eating Fizz's legs every time that he walks up. Here we see a trade between them, actually.
Yeah, all across the map, we did see the 2v2 in the bot lane get a little spicy there for a moment, as well as Kill Them Hard taking quite a bit of health out of Inheritance there and forcing him to back away.
We see both junglers top lane as well, both kind of trying to do something here. Kind of an awkward position for both of them, just staring each other in the eyes.
Ooh, Don Bandito actually flashing in the bot lane, gonna go after left hand. The exhaust is on, the satchel charge, good stun there from Muff Hunter, probably gonna save the AD carry and actually save the flash. Left hand path did use the heal, but the good engager from Muff Hunter will save the flash of his AD carry. And now Notes just backing away as Blade GG did try to get in for the fight, but a good movement there from the Camille to escape that gank.
And meanwhile, we still see both junglers just kind of awkwardly sitting around. They don't want to take camps or anything. They just want to kind of protect each other's top lanes, which is interesting, but
they just want to fight so bad. And Kill Them Hard has actually moved up, is trying to pincer Princess Zoe here. Blade GG gonna go in. The Elastic Slingshot does not land though. Princess Zoe just able to walk away.
At this time, I would say just go back to farming, boys. You gave it the old college try, as they would say, and now it's just time to go back to that early game.
I'm so happy you said that. I say that all the time, and I never hear anybody that I know say it outside of my old man, and I feel just...
I think only people who call their fathers old men are the people who say college try.
That is a good point. Yeah, he finally doesn't want to choke me anymore when I say that, so...
Old man, yeah. I don't know, my dad, wants me to call him that. He calls himself my old man, so I'm like, alright, I guess.
Whatever you say, Dad.
Alright,
You're not my real dad.
So bot lane, we saw the heal from Xayah and the ignite from Leona to get away from that. But we saw Taric use both of his summoners. So they might be able to do something here with Xayah or Leona.
Yeah, Inheritance has now hit level 5, starting to get the push going here and forcing Kill Them Hard back under his tower. Looks like this Malzahar has finally hit a point where he can feel fairly safe in this lane, although level 6 for both of these mid laners will certainly be very, very dangerous. And now Inheritance does have it. His juggler's not nearby, so he does need to be careful that Zac can show up in lane so quickly if you aren't careful.
And it looks like Zach's gonna head down bot lane right now, actually. See if he
Yep, the
does
Elastic
anything.
Slingshot is charged up. Muff Hunter gonna get in for the engage. Stretching Strikes will not pull Bandito back, but it doesn't matter. The root from the Xayah, can they take down the support? They cannot. They're forced to back away as Blade GG ate too much damage from Afraid of the Dunk there. And
I got to give it to the Taric to disengage there. That was pretty good on his part to have both of them there and then end up getting a stun on these Zach and Leona to stop the CC was absolutely vital for that trade.
And a huge thing to note, despite the 3v2 and a great engage from Blade GG, they didn't force out any summoner spells, but it does look like Fidel CC could go, or C could go down here. First blood will go to Notes in the tower dive, and now he's just gonna back away as we are fighting behind the tier 1 in bot lane. Muff Hunter gets back onto the AD carry. Princess Zoe is here, but left hand path will take down Bandito. Now Muff Hunter and left hand path gonna back up under their tower, content to take that kill and go back to farming. Princess Zoe did not get there soon enough to assist in that fight, and they end up losing their support as kills are traded across the map.
Now, I wouldn't have gone so hard in as Taric there against the Leona when you saw that the Leona had flash still. I know he might not have pinged it or anything, but Leona did have flash, and that ended up changing the tide of the fight where she couldn't die, and it was a 1-for-nothing trade.
Now, Princess Zoe possibly trying to get in here for a fight in the bot lane, but has been spotted out and doesn't have the ultimate available yet, so it's going to be fairly easy for the Instinct bot lane to just back away. So Zoe should probably focus on going back to farming and getting some creeps on her score. Now we do have an early Ocean Drake here, 8 minutes in, and it looks like Instinct may try to play for that right now. Kill Them Hard has moved his way down to the pit. Looks like they're just going to get some early vision, however, and go back to the lanes, possibly looking to get a kill or two before they turn to that objective.
Yeah, that early Water Drake will be good on either side. I actually really like Water Drake, honestly. I think it would be preferable to have.
Ooh, Inheritance could be in big trouble here, although he is going to turn it on to Kill Them Hard, and he will actually take the kill. The stopwatch will negate some of that damage coming out from the Fizz, and Inheritance will take the kill in the 1v1, and now he'll get the push going.
I want to point out that stopwatch is absolutely, it is amazing on Malzahar because you can just kind of stopwatch, let your bugs eat people, and stop taking so much damage and let them take all of it.
And certainly very good in this matchup against the Fizz, considering you can use it so effectively to negate a lot of the burst that the Fizz has, and very well played by Inheritance there, nets him a kill and a lead in this lane. And crazily enough, we haven't even mentioned this, Inheritance has built a 47 CS lead. What is Kill Them Hard doing in this mid lane?
Wow. To be honest, I didn't even have this open. That's crazy. That's a way to really take advantage of the ranged versus melee mid lane.
Yeah, that is crazy considering, you add the kill on top of that. That is a remarkable lead for Inheritance in this lane. And now he's got his ultimate available. It is still on cooldown, but he is level 8. And if he starts to roam, he can really have a strong effect across the map, while Kill Them Hard is going to have to just focus on farming for now.
And another thing that's interesting is, of course, cocky Fizz players, he took a Dark Seal, and that ended up, not being so well. He can't even CS, let alone be able to get a kill here to stack on his Dark Seal, Dark Seal. So, I think that Malzahar was able to definitely take advantage of his items more than Fizz was.
Yes, my mom always used to say, "Pride cometh before the fall."
You got a lot of old sayings, don't you? Your family's old.
I got some great ones for you. I don't know if they're necessarily appropriate for this stream, but
hey, I mean,
slide into
honest,
my DMs post stream and we'll talk.
we had a person earlier on named Dr. McLickertitties, so that's for you to decide.
We'll keep it PG-13, all right?
All right, PG-13. I remember that.
And Inheritance here, level 9, just so strong, pushing the lane at this point in the game. Just can continue to force kill them hard under his tower, and will continue to make it difficult for the Fizz to farm, as he's now built up a 60 CS lead, has grown by 15 in just the last couple of minutes. This Malzahar just brutalizing this Fizz in the mid lane.
And what's interesting is every other lane is relatively even. 10 CS difference top lane, like 5 CS in the bot lane. So to see this Malzahar really take over the game here, I want to see what he ends up doing late game with that lead.
Now Inheritance could be in big trouble here, however. The Stretching Strikes will not pull him back. Oh, but the ultimate, good job from Inheritance. Flashes away, can he get the kill and kill them hard? The base aids will fall off. The damage will not be enough, but he will still force out the flash from the Fizz and survive in the 2v1. Flash is traded, but I'd say that's a positive play there for Inheritance, considering the situation he was in.
I know that was pretty subtle, but I love that you called it space aids. I'm really surprised that it didn't kill Fizz there, to be honest, because that was an excellent flash from Malzahar there before the Fizz damage could get off.
To be honest, I've just called it space aids for so long that I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head what the actual name of the ability
I
is.
have no idea, but the same with me since I started playing League.
But as soon as I say space aids, everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all that matters. We're just looking for clarity here on the stream, not accuracy. Right, teleport is going to be used by Notes to get back to that top lane, trying not to lose a lot of that wave, but Princess Zoe could be caught here. Uses the ultimate onto the Fizz. He's going to go very low now. Ultimate after the Bandito. Save the jungler. Kill them hard, gets the kill. And the Warwick is dead, but they're going to chase down. The Satchel Charge will pop, and Afraid of the Dunk gets the kill. Now with the reset's going to try and chase down left-hand path. The Taric is trying to collapse here from the other side. Not going to be able to get here quick enough. I don't know. There's the space aids. The heal forced out from left-hand path. And that's a good trade for Aztecs. Now up 4-2 in kills, and they're going to look to push in the bot lane with 3 members.
That was a great trade by them, to be honest. Unfortunately, they couldn't turn back on the Xayah fast enough. But here, I mean, they'll be able to get tower. And if they don't just kill Xayah here, yeah, they should just kill her right here.
Oh, Bandito needs to be careful. He could die here. The ultimate from Inheritance, and Afraid of the Dunk gets the kill. Now 2-0 on the Tristana, but Bleed coming over the wall. The Elastic Slingshot will land. Heal forced out from Afraid of the Dunk, but they should be able to retreat. The dot will pass over to Blade GG, so he's going very, very low. God, this Malzahar just so powerful right now. Ooh, Kill Them Hard may have stepped up a little too far. Going greedy, will get the kill, but he could possibly lose his life. Blade GG gonna go in with the engage, trying to save his mid laner. The dot is on. Will he go down? Doesn't look like it. He will barely survive with a sliver of health, and good job from Muff Hunter and Blade GG to save their mid laner there as he secures the kill on Don Bandito, the Aztec support.
Yeah, and to be honest, that Warwick did not target the correct person there. He could have probably killed the Fizz if he had ended up targeting him, but he ended up trying to go on the back line, and that trade didn't go quite as well as it could have.
And a flash actually immediately out in the top lane as soon as Princess Zoe popped out of the brush. Fidel saw him and said, no thank you, I'm just going to flash away, I don't want to eat.
Camille is giving him harder of a time than I actually thought she might. She's doing a pretty good job of harassing him in general.
Yeah, Muff Hunter is going to move up to this top lane, however, clear out a little bit of vision. That will signal to Notes that it's time to back away, as the rest of his team is looking to possibly push the mid lane. 3 members here, the bot lane, as well as Princess Zoe's Warwick. Left-hand path and Kill Them Hard are here to respond, as well as Muff Hunter waiting in the wings. And it looks like Aztec will back away, possibly trying to set up for this Drake. We'll just have to see.
Now, I would like to point out the CS difference even now is at 70. You know, so it is only growing.
And if we take a peek at the gold is about 1,600 gold difference between those two. Now, Rift Herald has been dropped in the bot lane. Good job from Instinct to respond here. Kind of a misuse there by Aztec, but they are going to go for the engage. The flash forced out of left-hand path as Taric activates the ultimate, but the Xayah is fairly low as we are dueling in the top lane as well. The 4v4 in the bot lane going for this tower. Rift Herald ineffective. Aztec jumping the gun, using that a little too early, and good job from Instinct to respond on the bot side of the map. Does look like they're going to be able to secure this tier 1. However, the Satchel Charge going to take it fairly low. They should be able to tank it, and that is going to be first tower over to Aztecs as they take down that bot lane tier number 1.
And it looks like
possibly look for the Drake.
Yeah, they're trying to make the right play here. Just go straight for the Drake. Although if they see someone coming like they should in a sec, I would just back off completely. The Camille is, it's worth noting the Camille is up 30 CS on the Maokai now, and a kill. She's been harassing really well all game, so.
Blade GG does have his passive available. He's going to go in for the steal, but it will not work. The Ocean Drake goes over to Aztec. They're going to take down the Zac, and that's a third kill over to Inheritance. This Malzahar just continuing to put more gold into his pockets. Now they'll move to the mid lane and possibly try to secure another tower here. Kill Them Hard trying to retreat from the Malzahar here. The dot is on. The silence will miss. And he will just be able to retreat to the safety of his jungle.
And it looks like they're going to get this mid tower too. It's really impressive. None of them have backed since that bot tower, the Rift Herald fight we saw. And now they're all going to be able to reset after getting 2 towers and a drag, feeling pretty comfortable now.
Now the question is how long will Notes be able to hold this pressure in the top lane? It's going to possibly go for the dive. Axtex activates the Hextech ultimatum. Notes taking way too much damage here. Another tower shot. Fidel could get this kill. Buffhunder is here to help. Will miss the snare. Does land the stun. Fidel can get the kill, and he does. Notes goes down in overplay by the Camille, and Notes overestimating the damage propped up against the sustain of the Maokai, and turns around to bite him in the ass.
I gotta give it to that Leona for being in the right place at the right time. I mean, that was really good for her to come up knowing that the Camille could easily dive on the Maokai, and I didn't even see a help wanted ping coming out of the Maokai either, so good props to her for being there.
Yeah, and it looks like Instinct is now going to try and respond to get their first tower of the game, although, the Maokai could be in big trouble. Warwick will lock him down, and Don Bandito gets the kill on Fidel. The rest of the team is pushing in the mid lane. Blade GG and Kill Them Hard are here. Ultimate not available for the Fish, but it doesn't matter. He's going to go in onto Afraid of the Dunk, and he will go down.
Wow, that is not good. You know, now you see a 3-2 Fizz. Granted, he has less than half the CS of the Malzahar, but you do not want that Fizz to be getting kills.
Yeah, now he has 3. Still at that large CS deficit, nearly 70 right now, but those kills will make him feel just a little bit better as he tries to buy some items here. Does have the Lich Bane, so plenty of burst onto that Fizz. Carries of Aztec are certainly going to have to watch out.
This is probably going to be a slower game, building up into the late game. I expect actually to see Fizz making some big plays on, you know, Trist or maybe even Malzahar late game, because now that he has 3 kills, Fizz is Fizz.
Yeah, held on to that Dark Seal and now does have 6 stacks on it, so could be a viable option to continue hold on to that and go for possibly the Medjais. If you can hold on to those stacks. We do see the lane swap here. Both of the bot lanes moved up to the top side, so we will see the Camille and the Maokai face off on the bottom side of the map. as we see the junglers and mid laners staying fairly close to each other at this point.
We have Tristana seems to be up basically a full. Oh no. Never mind. I'm incorrect. I didn't see the Essence Reaver on Xayah, but we do have a full, almost a full item up on the Malzahar.
Ooh, this could be big trouble for Muff Hunter here. Is going to land the ultimate on. Trying to run away, but it doesn't. Inheritance locks her down with the suppression, depression, and Don Bandito's now going to try and chase them down. The fish activates, Kill Them Hard goes over the wall. They're going to go for Muff Hunter. He is silenced. Can Don Bandito land the dazzle? Blade GG going to try and help his support escape, and actually is able to do so. So only one kill going over to Aztec there, but still a good fight deep in the Instinct blue side jungle.
Now you see the Camille bot lane. She's going to put pressure down there. I would say for them to just get that top turret, and it looks like that's probably what they're going to do, and make sure they ward Baron on the way back.
Yeah, the response here from Instinct, though, is they're going to go for the mid lane. They had already tried to push that a little while ago. It will be a 1-for-1 trade. The teleport coming out for Inheritance. Can they stop this? Princess Zoe is here, and they are actually forced to back away. Good use of the teleport there from Aztec to respond. While I'm typically not in favor of teleporting to save tier 1 towers at 22 minutes into the game, if it's a mid lane and they have no towers, I think that's well worth. If you allow that mid lane tower to go down, it opens up so many more opportunities for Blade GG and Kill Them Hard to play aggressively, and now they'll just continue to have to wait on that mid lane tower to go down.
I'm going to have to agree, because that just makes all of that even more of a worth trade, right? Because they got 1-0 in towers and 1-0 in kills in that entire trade. So that just puts them up even more gold that they can spend right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned the gold, about 7,000 gold lead here for Aztec at this point into the game.
Which is interesting, because people wouldn't guess that against the 8-5. But 7,000 gold is quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, a big portion of that is going to be those 3 towers, as well as the CS leads that they've been able to build. I mean, still about 80 CS in favor. About actually jumps up to 90, just like that. Inheritance leading in that mid lane matchup. Now Notes could be caught here. Kill Them Hard. The ultimate will land from Muff Hunter, and the Camille is dead in overplay, playing too far forward without significant vision in the red side jungle, and Notes gets punished for it, and now his team may lose an Infernal Drake because of that misplay.
Yeah, and
feels bad as Princess Zoe does miss the ultimate onto the Fizz. Taric ultimate activated. Suppressed is the Xayah. She's going to go down. Inheritance has got the 4th kill of the game. Now Fidel trying to zone away the Malzahar. Oh, good flash. Don Bandito is going to stud too. Blade and Muff Hunter very low, and Afraid of the Dunk will take the kill. The resets are coming in. Warwick jumps in. Oh, the flash too early from Blade GG, and the Q will continue to channel through the Zac, and Don Bandito will get the kill. Kill Them Hard, able to escape, as well as Fidel, but that's a 3-for-0, and Aztec controls the map.
That was an excellent flash from Princess Zoe to fear them back toward his team. That was very, that changed the entire side of the fight, I would say, because now they can get Baron. Fizz being the only one that, just barely escaped with his life there.
Yeah, and I completely called that wrong. You're correct. I thought it was the Q, but that was just essentially almost a frame-perfect flash there. Zoe simultaneously flashing after the Zac, and Fidelcy steps a little too close to Aztecs and will lose his life, and the Baron buff also over to Aztec. And you talked about this game going a little longer. It may not go that much longer with how Aztec is playing right now. Now a 10,000 gold lead, and they have Baron looking to break this line of tier 2 towers.
Absolutely. And now, I hate to just keep up with this CS thing, but you got 50 CS up on Aztec's top laner, 100 CS up on the mid laner. From there you got a 4-0 and 4 Malzahar. He's going to be doing a ton of damage.
You have between mid lane and top lane, the solo lanes for Aztec have combined a 5,000 gold lead over their lane opponents. Half of that gold lead is just on the solo laners. That is absolutely absurd.
That is absolutely absurd. Just a minute ago I was saying, it's only 8-5, but now, the score is doubled. It's 12-6. So we're seeing the snowball effect really take place here.
Yeah, now we do have Aztecs moving on to the Infernal Drake. Don Bandino going to get English on, but he's pretty tanky. His team's going to be able to respond. Does Zoe go over the wall? Go for it. You've got... Oh, but the carries are taking down the Xayah here. The Guardian Angel procced. Now Notes is going to go for the Xayah and a great juke. They're able to get around the Maokai and take down the Xayah. Now Fidel will lose his life as well. Afraid of the Dunk with one more auto attack will secure the 4th kill of the game for the Tristana.
They're taking too many 2v2 fights here. You know, you don't want to take that when you're so behind. You need to fight those 3v4, the uneven fights where your team is definitely going to win.
Ooh, Kill Them Hard wants to go after Princess Zoe, but the Terracult saved the Warwick long enough for him to ult onto the Fizz and take him down. Continued just overplays by the team of Instinct, and they're getting continually punished. Now they want to go for the dive. Zoe trying to chase down Blade GG, but it doesn't matter. Take down the tower, guys. That'll make your life a lot easier. Muff Hunter, excuse me, forced the flash away.
I have to correct you there. You know, it's Muff Hunter, not Muff Hunter. First of all, you're the guy who says 50 cents. But also, you know, they just took advantage of this Baron here.
Oh man, they're
taking
diving in the base. Aztec does not want to wait. They want this game. The shot will knock him. Path will save his life just a little bit longer and actually Kill Them Hard, able to get burst with the Lichbane proc and take down Afraid of the Dunk, but Inheritance is onto the back. Like Kill Them Hard's going to go down. The dot is going to be too much. There goes an inhibitor. Can they go for the win? Exhausted is the Zac. He's going to go down. Muff Hunter going in a little too deep. The double kill for Inheritance, and they're looking at the Nexus towers. We thought this game would go significantly longer, but it looks like only 3 to 4 minutes.
And that's gonna be game. Instinct versus Aztecs. Aztecs are gonna take the win.
Yeah, a hell of a game, and Aztec just taking their advantage and absolutely rolling with it, following that snowball to a Game 2 victory.
All right, so now we're going to be handing it over here in just a moment to talk to the MVP of the game with Freelance himself. Just a couple of last-minute things. I got to say, this snowball coming out of as the Aztecs was 100. You know, it's the 100 emoji. It was amazing. It's I really have to say that the out CSing. Killing a team that could have easily beaten them late game, you know, with the Maokai Zac. They had a decent amount of CC that I was telling you about, and Aztecs just said, no, you're not going to CC me. You know, we're just going to run it down on you.
Yeah, great job from Aztec. They're taking control of that game. They got that lead and never looked back. And you are right, Sloppy Joe. We will hand it over now to Freelance to talk with the Aztec mid laner.
Thank you guys once again. I am here with Inheritance. He was playing the Malzahar last game. Inheritance, first off, I want to say congratulations on being named MVP and picking up your guys' first win.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys went 1-on-1 on the week. How do you feel about your performance this week?
Pretty good. I think first game we definitely messed up a lot just moving around. Our map movements, we were getting caught out a lot, but I think we fixed that. I think almost entirely this game, and we just kind of kept catching them out.
All right. You guys, as you mentioned, your guys' map movements were a lot better this game, and you guys were able to gain a lot of CS leads in every single lane, mid lane especially. How are you guys able to communicate and focus on growing the gold lead after getting a good-sized lead in the early game?
Not sure. I think we mostly just tried to take advantage of our double teleport and just force them to either pretty much pick which lane to save, because in a straight like 3v3 or whatever, we pretty much automatically won because of how far ahead we were. So we basically just said, Notes stay top, we'll go bot, and if they pick a 4v4, we win the fight. If they choose to collapse on Notes, we just get a free tower, and kept doing that.
All right. you guys also had strong performances coming out of Notes 5-2 and 2. Actually, all across the board, you guys played very well, as I mentioned, CS. What was the team communication like in the early game and knowing that you guys were able to get those big leads?
I think because we were constantly talking about sort of where Zach was, and constantly trying to watch Fizz whenever he walked out of lane. And at least when Fizz went top for a while, I think the key was we were constantly saying where Fizz was, keeping an eye on him, watching out for Zach, and keeping Zoe very close to top, and just making sure that they couldn't actually get anything from that, and that just let us get really far ahead.
All right. Next week, you guys face Ragnarok on stream, and also Ozone Zion. How do you guys feel going into next week?
I'm trying to remember if we've faced one of them in scrims or not, but I think we're feeling. I don't know a ton about their team specifically, but just in terms of how we're doing, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we know what we need to work on, and we've been doing pretty good at getting better at it. So especially with an extra week of practice, I think we'll do pretty well.
That is awesome to hear. And lastly, I want to round it out. Personally, how do you think your performance was this game? Are you satisfied with it, or do you still see things that you can improve on and you want to keep working on?
I think overall it was pretty good, but there are definitely a number of points in team fights where I didn't necessarily play badly, but I didn't play quite as efficiently or optimally as I could have. Where I was just doing things like not ulting as fast as I could, or not necessarily picking who to drop my Voidlings on. That's good. So it's one of the minor things to work on.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview. Congratulations on the win. Aztecs is now 1-1. We are going to send it back up to the casters to close out the day.
All right, thank you, Freelance, for that interview. We had to say that was a pretty unanimous MVP there because we were talking about the CS throughout the entire game. What was he up over 100 CS by the end game? For I forget his end score. It looks like it was 6-0-5. So really impressive out of Inheritance.
Yeah, honestly, the CS numbers really just shows that he had just so much control in the mid lane. The Fizz is certainly threatening, especially once he hits level 6 and gets access to his ultimate. But Inheritance just played so controlled, so well, and just focused heavily on, I'm just going to build this gold lead. We're going to focus on that now, and that will pay dividends later. And it did. Once they got to the team fights, once he had access to the ultimate, he was just a menace all across the map. He continued to make plays everywhere and move around with his team, and just had such a resounding effect on this game. So a great performance across the board from this team, but especially Inheritance from the start of that game to the finish was very, very, very well played. Any final thoughts on tonight's series, Sloppy Joe, before we wrap up the first cast of the season?
My final thoughts, I would just say to every team, be careful of the comps that you pick, because they're definitely going to have an impact on the game that you play, especially when all these teams have been playing together. They all have synergy together. So having just that little bit of an advantage in your lane is really going to make an impact.
Yeah, certainly. And then also on top of that, understanding the win conditions of these compositions that you pick are extremely important. You don't want to pick a team fighting composition and then try to heavily focus on split push or a 1-3-1 and then try and 5v5 fight around objectives. Understanding those win conditions are integral to getting your team to a victory. But that will do it for us here, folks. One more thank you so much to League of Mentoring, our sponsor. Make sure to check them out. The Discord link is in the description. Any information about Ozone Gaming or the Galaxy League, those links are down there as well. Make sure to check those out. If you want to join the Ozone Atmosphere community Discord, that link is down there as well. And if you want to support us, the best way you can do it is to continue to come out and watch these streams. We certainly appreciate all of you joining us tonight, but also consider throwing us a follow as well as donations. The link to the PayPal is down in the description as well. Sloppy Joe, first cast in the books. It's got to feel good, huh?
It does feel good. I've broadcasted before, but never actually tried to cast. So interesting, fun time, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next 7 weeks and even further on because then we have playoffs.
Oh man, playoffs are the best. We get into those best of threes and best of fives. Ooh, it gets really intense at that time of the year. That's where everybody really gets to show your stuff. Regular season doesn't matter then. You're back to 0-0. You got to prove yourself all over again.
Exactly, get that fresh start. So I want to say thank you to everyone as well. Again, thank you to League of Mentoring and for giving Ozone a shot, especially with sponsoring, because I know we're a small org, but we're trying to make our way up. So
yeah, I can certainly say just from my early interactions in the league, their confidence is certainly well placed. So, thank you to Freelance and everybody in the staff for putting this all together. And to all of you out there watching tonight, from myself, Sloppy Joe, the rest of the live broadcast crew, and everybody at Ozone Gaming, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we'll see y'all again next week.
Later, skaters, and have a colorful night.